Cross. The device on which Jesus Christ was executed is referred to by most of Christendom as a cross. The expression is drawn from the Latin crux. Why do Watchtower publications show Jesus on a stake with hands over his head instead of on the traditional cross? The Greek word rendered cross in many modern Bible translations, or torture stake, is stouros. In classical Greek, this word meant merely an upright stake or pale. Later it also came to be used for an execution stake having a cross piece. The Imperial Bible Dictionary acknowledges this, saying, the Greek word for cross, or stouros, properly signified a stake, an upright pole or piece of paling on which anything might be hung, or which might be used in impaling or fencing in a piece of ground. Even among the Romans, the crux from which our cross is derived appears to have been originally an upright pole. P. Fairbairn, London 1874. Was that the case in connection with the execution of God's Son? Well, it is noteworthy that the Bible also uses the word xylon to identify the device used. A Greek-English lexicon by Liddell and Scott defines this as meaning wood cut and ready for use, such as firewood, timber, etc., piece of wood, log, beam, post, cudgel, club, stake on which criminals were impaled, of live wood or tree. It also says in NT of the Cross and cites Acts 5:30 and Acts 10:39 as examples. Oxford 1968. However, in those verses, the King James Version and other versions translate xylon as tree. Compare this rendering with Galatians 3:13 and Deuteronomy chapter 21 verses 22 and 23. The book The Non-Christian Cross by J.D. Parsons, London 1986, says, there is not a single sentence in any of the numerous writings forming the New Testament which, in the original Greek, bears even indirect evidence to the effect that the stouros used in the case of Jesus was other than an ordinary stouros, much less to the effect that it consisted not of one piece of timber, but of two pieces nailed together in the form of a cross. It is not a little misleading upon the part of our teachers to translate the word stouros as cross when rendering the Greek documents of the Church into our native tongue, and to support that action by putting cross in our lexicons as the meaning of stouros, without carefully explaining that was at any rate not the primary meaning of the word in the days of the Apostles, and did not become its primary signification until long afterwards, and became so then, if at all, only because, despite the absence of corroborative evidence, it was for some reason or other assumed that the particular stouros upon which Jesus was executed that had that particular shape. Pages 23-24. And see also the Companion Bible, London 1885. Thus the weight of the evidence indicates that Jesus died on an upright stake and not on the traditional cross. What were the historical origins of Christendom's cross? Well, various objects dating from periods long anterior to the Christian era have been found marked with crosses of different designs in almost every part of the Old World. India, Syria, Persia and Egypt have all yielded numberless examples. The use of a cross as a religious symbol in pre-Christian times and among non-Christian peoples may probably be regarded as almost universal, and in very many cases it was connected with some form of nature worship. Encyclopaedia Britannica, 1946, Volume 6, page 753. The shape of a two-beamed cross had its origin in ancient Chaldea, and was used as a symbol of the god Tammuz, meaning in the shape of a mystic Tor, the initial of his name, in that country and in adjacent lands, including Egypt. By the middle of the 3rd century AD, the churches that had either departed from or had transvestited certain doctrines of a Christian faith. In order to increase the prestige of the apostate ecclesiastical system, pagans were received into the churches apart from regeneration by faith, and were permitted largely to retain their pagan signs and symbols. Hence the Tor or T, in its most frequent form, with the cross piece lowered, was adopted to stand for the cross of Christ. An expository dictionary of New Testament words. London, 1962. It is strange yet unquestionably a fact that in ages long before the birth of Christ, and since then in lands untouched by the teaching of the Church, the cross had been used as a sacred symbol. The Greek Bacchus and Tyrian Tammuz and Chaldean Bel and the Norse Odin were all symbolised to their votaries by a cruciform device. The cross in ritual, architecture and art. London, 1900. The cross is the form of a cruz ansata, was carried in the hands of the Egyptian priests and pontiff kings as a symbol of their authority as priests of the sun god, and was called the sign of life. The worship of the dead, London, 1904. Various figures of crosses are found everywhere on Egyptian monuments and tombs, and are considered by many authorities as symbolical either of phallus, a representation of a male sex organ, or of coition. In Egyptian tombs, the cruz ansata, cross with a circle or handle on top, is found side by side with a phallus. A short history of sex worship. London, 1940. See also the non-Christian cross, page 183. These crosses were used as symbols of the Babylonian sun god. See book. And are first seen on a coin of Julius Caesar, 100 to 44 BCE. Then on a coin struck by Caesar's heir, Augustus, 20 BC. On the coins of Constantine, the most frequent symbol is, but the same symbol is used without the surrounding circle, and with the 4 equal arms, vertical and horizontal. And this was a symbol specially venerated as the solar wheel. It should be stated that Constantine was a sun god worshipper and would not enter the church till some quarter of a century after the legend of his having seen such a cross in the heavens. The Companion Bible, appendix number 162. See also the non-Christian cross, pages 133 to 141. Is veneration of the cross a scriptural practice? Let's have a look at 1 Corinthians 10:14. My beloved ones, flee from idolatry. An idol is an image or symbol that is an object of intense devotion, veneration or worship. Exodus 24:5 says, You shall not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of anything in heaven, or on earth, beneath or in the waters under the earth. You should not bow down to them or serve them. Notice that God commanded that his people not even make an image before which people would bow down. Of interest is this comment in the New Catholic Encyclopedia. The representation of Christ's redemptive death on Golgotha does not occur in the symbolic art of the first Christian centuries. The early Christians, influenced by the Old Testament prohibition of graven images, were reluctant to depict even the instrument of the Lord's Passion. 1967, volume 4, page 486. Concerning first century Christians, History of the Christian Church says there was no use of a crucifix and no material representation of a cross. New York, 1897, J.F. Hurst, volume 1. Does it really make any difference if a person cherishes a cross as long as he does not worship it? How would you feel if one of your dearest friends was executed on the basis of false charges? Would you make a replica of the instrument of execution? Would you cherish it, or would you rather shun it? In ancient Israel, unfaithful Jews wept over the death of the false god Tammuz. Jehovah spoke of what they were doing as being as a detestable thing. You'll find this in Ezekiel chapter 8, verses 13 and 14. According to history, Tammuz was a Babylonian god, and the cross was used as his symbol. From its beginning in the days of Nimrod, Babylon was against Jehovah and an enemy of true worship. For more information, see Genesis chapter 10, verses 8 to 10, and Jeremiah 50:29. So by cherishing the cross, a person is honouring a symbol of worship that is opposed to the true God. As stated at Ezekiel 8:17, apostate Jews also thrust out the shoot to Jehovah's nose. He viewed this as detestable and offensive. Why? Well, this shoot, some commentators explain, was a representation of a male sex organ used as phallic worship. How then must Jehovah view the use of a cross, which as we have seen, was anciently used as a symbol in phallic worship? If you would like a free home Bible study at a time and place to suit you, please navigate your browser to jw.org and follow the links online. Thank you for listening.